Hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining this evening. I'll just give it another minute or two. Hi, Kristen. Oh, I'm seeing so many people I recognize. It's so exciting. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a minute or two. Yeah, feel free to introduce yourselves in the comments and say where you're from, or I don't know, say your favorite Bible verse. Tell us how your day went. San Diego, that's not far from me. I live outside of San Francisco. I went to college in North Carolina. Let's see if there's other people can say states I have strong attractions to. Hello. Arizona, oh my gosh. I went to Arizona this summer for the first time. I was born in Georgia. Guys, we're hitting them all. Alabama, I've not actually lived in, but I have gone through. Utah, I have not been to. It seems beautiful though. I would love to go to Arches National Park. Kentucky, my grandfather was originally from Kentucky. I'm sure this happens with like every state. Hi, Sienna. Portland, Oregon. I have not been there. I haven't been to Oregon. It also seems beautiful. California, excellent. Y'all will have to excuse me. My cat has, so I'm gonna watercolor today, and I was gonna do the thing where you put a little watercolor and then use a straw to like blow it to make cool patterns, and my cat stole one of my straws and is like running around the house with it right now. So if you hear scampering or I don't know, the sound of a straw being played with, that is my cat. I'm hoping that he will stay out of the camera for our time together this evening. All right, so tonight I wanted to, so I'll tell you what I first did. So I don't know if you guys are on the Illustrated Faith mailing list, but you can sign up on their website, illustratedfaith.com, and they sent out this cool freebie printable this week to celebrate their first birthday. Sorry, I can't get it all on the screen. And I wanted to use one of them. So I cut out this one, which says, I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Because when I was a child, my mom used to wake me up singing this song because I thought that like there was no way you could stay asleep when you heard a song that happy. Which seems a little silly now, but it's a favorite song of mine. So I was gonna do this. So I Googled verses about joy, and I found that there was one in Nehemiah, which I have not journaled in yet. And I was like, great, I'm in. So I'm going to be doing Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 10. And do not be grieved, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. And I'm going to focus on that second part, the joy of the Lord is your strength. And I wanted to watercolor. And the problem with watercoloring when you're periscoping is that you have to wait for it to dry to then stamp on top of. And that can be hard, and it's hard to wait. So I thought tonight I would try stamping first and then watercoloring over it, because it shouldn't run because I have this stays on jet black ink. This like does not run when it gets wet, which is awesome. It's possible that like after I watercolor over it and it's dried, it might be a little bit harder to see, like the black might not be as distinct anymore. So I'm hoping that if that happens, I will just maybe like go back with a marker and like go over some parts that are hard to see, but it should hopefully be okay. All right, so I'm gonna start by stamping. I've tried to get all of my stamps ready. First, I'm gonna use, this stamp was from the Illustrated Faith Bloom devotional. I'm gonna use this word joy. Here is my ink. Feel free to ask questions as we go. I'm gonna try to keep my eye. Oh, thank you very much. It only today has finally begun to feel fall here. And so I have still been wearing my bright summer nail polish colors. All right, so there's our joy. And now I'm gonna go back and write the. I always like to wait. So for the joy, and now we're gonna get of the Lord. So of the And this is my Illustrated Faith precision pen, and it should not bleed either. How long did it take you to build up your journaling supplies? So I started journaling in January, so it's been like 9 months now. And I also already had some stuff from like previous crafting excursions. So there were some things I kind of splurged on at first, and then some things I've kind of like saved up for or like slowly accumulated. It's, I think, kind of helpful to figure out like what your personal journaling style is, and so what you're going to use. Like, I know I use a lot of stamps, and so like I'm willing to like buy like additional alphabet stamps, because that's really important to me. Speaking of, did y'all see the Illustrated Faith Etsy store like listed a bunch of new stuff today, but they haven't advertised it yet? And there are like 2 new alphabets. I only got 1, but if you're looking for some alphabets, they're there. All right, for the joy of the Lord. All right, is your strength. So this Lord, sorry, I should have told y'all, is from the Illustrated Faith Everything I Need set. I know, everyone's gonna go leave to shop. I know, it was the kind of thing where I was like watching this afternoon and they weren't sending an email, and I was like, well, they might have a coupon code, maybe I should wait. But I decided to heck with it. I didn't want to have to like miss out, so I went ahead with it. All right, so right now for the next words I'm going to use, these are the Amy Tangerine document stamps. I got these at Tuesday Morning for like $7. I think that you can buy them on Amazon as well, or just like kind of watch your craft store. The problem with these is that they can get a lot of ink around the edges, and then that can leave some ugly marks. So I always take a baby wipe or damp paper towel around the edges. Sorry, you probably didn't see that. Yeah, so you can kind of still see there was an outline, but I imagine when we watercolor over it, we won't be able to see. And then your strength. I'll do this set again. Oh, you know what no, this is good. Sometimes I like work the word backwards, depending on if I have room or not, but I think I'll do it forwards. Ah, there is a coupon code. I think that was just if you got the new devotional, but if it isn't, that's awesome. And I did not use it because I should have tried that. Oh well. All right, here we go. Why? I'm so sorry, y'all. I know it's so boring to watch somebody stamp. I wish I could handle it a little better. Maybe sometime I will spend time working on that. Okay. It's so funny how when you are stamping something letter by letter, you get worried that you're gonna misspell it, or you do misspell it. And it's simple words that you spell all the time. And you're like, oh man, I misspelled these. Okay. I'll often find myself like checking in the text over and over again. Okay. Oh, they sell them at TJ Maxx, you guys. Yeah, these are great. I have really enjoyed these little wooden stamps. All right, and then for strength, since that's a bit of a longer word, and I have this tiny little margin, I'm gonna use my Stepping Stone stamps from Hero, I think Studio Calico, I guess, Hero Arts / Studio Calico. And these, I'm gonna use the ones that are outline, so it'll be in them over the text, but you'll still be able to read it. And I also like to use my small acrylic block for these. I have a bigger one, but I have found that when I use the bigger one on longer words, the letters in the center, I never press down enough. So I usually will do my words in a couple of heats. I don't even know. I don't know the right word. It takes a couple tries. All right. So here's the first half. Okay. those off. And then NGTH. But again, when you're doing it letter by letter, especially like half of the word in. See, and we would have had to use the T twice, so we wouldn't have been able to do it all on the same thing anyway. Okay. All right. Excellent. All right, and so now I have a new set of stamps. I got, oops, here they are. I think maybe they're called the Explorer stamps in the Illustrated Faith Etsy store. And so I thought I might do one of these patterns, maybe like right here, and then the Be Strong. Since I think that this verse is equally about joy and strength. I know, aren't they so cute? It was the kind of thing where I was like, this mountain, I'm sure I could draw myself, but the stamp is so cute. I just needed it. And I love supporting Illustrated Faith because they are awesome. All right, is that, yeah, that'll be long enough. Great. If I had a lot of different kind of colored inks, this might be a cool place to use some different colored inks, but I only have black, so we're just gonna use black right now. I think this has gotten a little curled. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that kind of like was veering off. I might go back and color it in later, or I might just leave it as it is. We'll see how it looks after we watercolor. All right, and now I think I might be able to fit the Be Strong on the same stamp, which would be awesome. Okay, I should probably put the Strong first because I want to center the B, and now the Strong is slanted. It's a little bit of trial and error here, but I'm gonna go like that. What do y'all think? That, I know it's so hard to tell. I might move the B down just a little bit. Okay, stamp, stamp, stamp. These are new stamps, so hopefully they will pick up the ink. Okay, here we go. Oh, perfect. Awesome. Love it. I feel like it's always when you're like worried about it that, oh yeah, it worked perfectly. Great. Okay. I also have this little dot pattern. I'm going to dot some of those around. Again, I'm sure you could do this with your pen if you were, you know, able to space things out well. I sometimes do not. I like tried with my pen one time and then felt like I didn't do a great job, so. I also tend to be the person who like overdoes their abstract pattern stamps. So I'm feeling like I should stop with those and maybe, here, have this little chevron pattern. Maybe we'll put this here to the side. One. These are from the Explore set. I mean, they say adventure on them, but they were called Explore. So yeah, the dots were right there. Okay, well, I'm gonna put a third set just since those weren't lined up perfectly well. That's okay. What can you do? It will hopefully come together. All right, so now watercolor time. Maybe we'll give it, you know, a second to dry a little bit more. But yeah, can y'all tell, I'll bring it up, how great these hollow stamps were. Oh, sorry, I can't bring it up because my tripod is right there. But you can, you know, you can definitely still read the text through here. I'm not sure how often I will need to read the 9th chapter of Nehemiah. Pretty sure I had not read it in quite some time. When I was in seminary, I did read the whole Bible, so I have read it at some point. but have not felt the need to go back since then. And my thought, I didn't ever explain it. My thought for this was that I might tape it here to be used as the tab. So I'll like tip it here so I can still flip it up. But I thought that would be cool to use as the tab. So yeah, sorry, answering your question about the ink, stays on, jet black. It does not run, it's awesome. It's funny, I have a planner, getting into the planning trend, and one of my friends here also likes to plan, and I sent her a picture of some of the stamps I had watercolored in, and she was like, oh my gosh, how did you stop it from running? And I was like, oh, because I use the stays on ink, and apparently whatever ink she had was causing her stamps to run terribly, so I feel good. All right, so I'm gonna work on, where can you get that ink? I bought it on Amazon. I know they also have it at Michael's, probably Joann's. If you have a nice Joann's, our Joann's here is like almost entirely fabric, which is annoying. But Hobby Lobby too. We don't have Hobby Lobbies out here. Oh, there's one like so close to my parents' house. Okay, so I'm gonna use these kind of bluish green palette here with my, this is the Michael's brand watercolor set. There are 36 of them. I'm in California, outside of San Francisco. Right, this is the Michael's Artist Loft brand, $5, 36 watercolors. I resisted for a long time buying watercolors because I was like, I already have a lot of other stuff. Like, I don't need them. And then I found out that the set everyone used was $5. And Kristen of Taz and Belly pointed out that if you use a coupon for Michael's, you can get it for like under $4. I didn't think of that at the time. I spent the full $5. Yeah, I wonder if Hobby Lobby is like more of a East Coast, maybe Midwest thing. I'm not sure. All right, so I'm gonna get my brush wet. You can use a water brush for this. I kind of like to use a lot of water. I have not found that my pages wrinkle that bad, but the thing I like to do is put one paper towel on top and one paper towel on the back when I'm done, and then close the Bible to help it not wrinkle. And I feel like if you use most of the page, you're usually okay. So since we're still planning on doing our blowing technique, I'm just gonna watercolor kind of this much of the page, leave about 1 inch, and then I'll go back, dribble some water, and blow it. All right, and I'm putting in, this is the Illustrated Faith matte. You can use anything to kind of protect the rest of your pages or give you a bit of a harder surface to work on, piece of cardstock or other plastic something or other. All right, so should we start with green at the top or blue at the top? I think I'm feeling blue. So I'm gonna get, sorry, I'm not sure how to, I don't think I can get the watercolors in the, here, getting it blue. All right, then just gonna, so they sell this mat on the Illustrated Faith Etsy store. So if you go to Etsy and search for Illustrated Faith, I think some other like scrapbooking store retailers carry them, but oh my gosh. Well, let's get a paper towel. That is hilarious. Okay. We'll make that work later when we get down there. I don't think it's a lost cause. All right. Sometimes it takes me, you know, a couple coats of watercolor to get it really how I like it. Just so you know. Yeah, I think we're gonna go from like lighter blues to darker greens to lighter greens at the bottom. That's how I'm thinking my ombre is gonna work. Did you do any page prep? I did not. I never prep my page. I just go for it. It's my way of being bold. I have found that like wetting most of the page, I think helps it to wrinkle. Like sometimes if you just like wet a little bit, I found that it will wrinkle more. The other thing I do, like I said before, is like put one paper towel on the top, one paper towel on the bottom, and shut the Bible while it dries. I think that that is better. I've tried like using a blow dryer or a heat gun to dry them, and I find that my pages wrinkle when I do that. But I don't know, maybe other people. Does it bleed the ink on the other side? It might like have some shadow. I don't think it'll bleed. We'll look at it when we're done. I will say that when I very first got the StazOn ink, it did bleed to the back pretty well. I think because it was so new and still like really wet in there. But once it dried out a little, it worked a lot better. And the other thing you can do is like stamp it in the wet ink and then stamp it on like an extra piece of paper and then stamp it in your Bible if you feel like your ink is too wet and it's gonna bleed. If we have time at the end, I can go through and show you some pages where the ink did bleed a little bit. But it doesn't, doesn't bother me. I'll cover it up somehow or work it into the design on the other page. I'm just not that bothered. All right, and then we're gonna do this light green. Oh. Yeah, sometimes the lighter colors I find it takes a couple of coats of the paint to get them really vibrant with the watercolors sometimes. Oops, I went underneath there. Let me wipe that up so it doesn't stick too bad. You do have to be a little careful when you've got the page really wet that you don't that you don't rip like the edges while you're trying to hold it. It was really funny. I was using my Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons the other day, and it was like the page was dry, and I went out outside to take a picture of it in the daylight, and something about like the way I was holding it just like ripped the corner, so I had to come back in and like tape it up. Oh, here's the cat. Oh, hey baby, let's get off the table. 1 second, sorry friends. Oh, don't drink the watercolor water. No sir. Bye. Bye. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go back over my blues at the top. Oops. I want to get these a little darker. I just probably used a little too much water. It's probably why. There we go. Might dab at it a little bit here. It's kind of a puddle. There we go. I just have like these really cheap brushes from Michaels, and they do leave little bristles on my pages sometimes because they're cheap and they fall apart. And when that happens, I usually will wait for the page to dry and then go back and get it, even though sometimes it drives me half crazy. I have found that waiting for it to dry, you can just brush them off, whereas while they're wet, you like get your handle on the watercolor. Okay. There's a bristle over here in the word Lord. That's annoying me every time I go over there, but again, it's better to wait. Oh, okay, that's good to know. Simply Simmons brushes. Yeah, I haven't yet. When I was first buying my $5 watercolors, I was like, I'm not sure if how much I'm willing to devote to this hobby. I don't know if I'll like it or not. But I have enjoyed using it in my Bible. Okay, so now it is time to do our fun blowing technique. So I'm gonna get my brush wet, gonna get it in the light color blue. I'll work from the top down again. Just gonna dab little puddles here at the top. Okay. To use a different Bible for studying, I use multiple Bibles. Well, I'll get that in a second. Okay, so you can see it took me, a couple blows, and some of it went a little farther than I wanted to. But usually the end result is still pretty cool. We'll do some more here. And usually when I'm done, I will kind of go back and try to dab at those little wet spots from my blowing so they don't go on with the next page or something. Maybe I'll go ahead and do this one too. I'm worried about it. There we go. There we go. Sorry, I don't know how much of my head y'all are seeing. If you're seeing like lots of my face blowing, I apologize. I've done this technique on a couple pages, and I always think it looks cool when it's done. Ooh, I like how that one looked. Right, do this color green. Some of those, and now finally the last one. Okay. All right. Okay, now I'm gonna go back in and just kind of dab at these so they stay kind of good blow pattern and don't, like this one you can tell kind of like ran into the margin, which is fine. Okay, great. All right, the question earlier was about if I use this Bible to study or another Bible. I actually do use this Bible almost always, just because I love it so much now that I always have it with me. I do have more than I have other Bibles. I mean, I'm a pastor, so I have like 4 Bibles in my office. So I will look at those sometimes. Sometimes like to look at different translations anyway. I'll also look stuff up online. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of your personal preference. I do have some pages where I went over the words a little too much to use, like it to study, but most pages. Okay, now I'm gonna do the thing I love to do where I like put little sprays of droplets. I always think that's fun. And I like to do it, I mean, some people, I think you can do it like once it dries. I kind of like to do it while the page is still really wet, so it all kind of like blends together in a cool way. Ooh, touched it there. Oh, and I even forgot about it, but you really cannot tell where I accidentally like swiped the brush down earlier, so that's good. It was not a catastrophic mistake. It usually isn't when it comes to Bible journaling. You can usually make most stuff work, which is what makes it awesome. Okay, and so as you can see, like none of this bled, which is awesome. And there we go. Now I'm gonna put my paper towels down. Let me get this out of the way. So I'll show you what I often will put this down first, so you can tell it's getting some of it was pretty wet. Here, we'll see what it looks like. So I think that still looks nice, you know, like it's like modeling up some of the color, but it still is obviously very colorful. Okay, now here, let me pull it out a little bit. So the hard part, so then I always like will turn it over. Whoops, so just the back, okay. And then I'll carefully pull this off. So right now, like it's still pretty wet. It does, you know, look like both some of the color and the ink bled through. I think that most of the color will dry and you won't be able to see it. And the ink might still like be pretty prominent. It just kind of depends. I mean, in the interest of full disclosure, I will also show you that the bottom of this page got a little wet. Let me grab a paper towel and dry it off. Which, again, like does not bother me because some paint or something will someday go over that. I'm sorry, my cat is like right here again. Go away. Okay. So now I'm gonna shut it. Let me make sure. I don't want it to get a wrinkle. Here, I'll try to show you. I don't want the page itself to get wrinkled when I shut it because then you get a wrinkle in your page. There might be a wrinkle in the, yeah, so like you don't want to get a wrinkle in the paper towel. You want it to be as flat as possible. Okay, there we go. Great. Here, let me show you a different entry. I think there's one in Matthew where I watercolored. Yeah, this one. So this one you can tell I did a similar thing. I blew it out here. And so here's how the back of that page looks. So, you know, you can kind of see the color through, but not that much. It is a little bit wrinkly from the water, but again, it doesn't really bother me. And you know, you can kind of a little bit read the ink through, but not that much. Like I wouldn't call that bleeding, I'd call that a shadow, which doesn't bother me. And I will go and cover it up with something sometime and it'll be fine. I was just noticing today that I have several pages in John where it's like front, back, next page, front, back. So like, you know, here's this one, here's that one, that one. I mean, for all of these, you can't really read what happened on the other side. This, oops, sorry. Oh, there goes my tripod. This one was also watercolor, and that's the back. You really, I mean, so actually, I'm not gonna lie. Something weird happened on this page, and it was like it got oily or something, and the water bled through. I have no idea what happened. I did do it like not at home and at someone else's house, so it's possible something in that process messed it up. I don't know. This is an outlier. Don't let this prejudice you against, oh, I switched to landscape. I'm sorry. Is it better? Did I fix it? Is that better? I tried to hold it up. Okay, great. So sorry. Yeah, this happens to me every time. I like bump the tripod and then it gets mad at me. All right. So now I'm going to go through and while that dries, I'm going to finish up this card. I will say that I have gotten it wet in this process, so it has some texture now. I think that's still going to be fine. So for this, I'm going to first round the edges, just because oh, here we go. I prefer a rounded edge on my tabs. Oh, great. Yeah, there's so many great ones. I'm very excited to use all of these. So there's one. The fact that it's wet made it a little bit harder to round that edge, so let me trim it. Not sure where this was during the watercoloring process, but obviously somewhere where it was wet. Okay, great. And then I think I'm just gonna put the word joy at the top, so I'll be able to read it when it's a tab. This is the Zutter Round It All. I've had this for many years back in the day when I was a very big card maker. I assume they still make them, but I could not be sure. I received it as a gift from my mom one Christmas, so I don't know a whole lot about its origins. All right, I'm going to use stickers for this. I'm going to pull here. I think I'm actually going to use these Illustrated Faith mini alphabet stickers because I think that the navy will probably match. Let's make sure I have all the letters I need. I do. First thing when you're using alphabet stickers that aren't new. I ripped that one a little bit. There we go. So like to put little decorative dots in between my letters sometimes. Excellent. And then let's open up back up the Bible, and it'll be a little dry at least, and I can show you where I'm going to stick this once it's totally dry. No water anymore? Okay. Sorry, trying to get it back in its proper place with the, oops, there we go. All right. So here we go. I think the back one got a little, so there, that's like almost really mostly dry. I probably could have stamped up on it right now. There's a little bit of, I don't know quite what that is. It's like more active pigment. Might add a little water and try to even it out, or not, and just say that that's the way it is. Yeah, it's there to stay. Oh well. Great. So yeah, so I'm gonna put this like right here, I think. Not up too high. And then I'm gonna tape it in there. Let me grab a little bit of small tape. We'll do this one. So this is washi tape. Try to get it. Okay. Sorry, it's a hard process sometimes to get it so that enough of it will be on the card and enough of it will be on the Bible itself. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna rip a little off there so it doesn't hang over the side. There we go. So great. So that'll be my little tip-in tab. And then we'll still be able to pull this back. If I can find, here's my pen. I'm going to underline the verse so I know where it was on this page. For the joy of the Lord is your strength. Great. And now I'm just going to do a date stamp. And I'm good to go. Any final questions? It's the 30th. Thank you so much for watching. It's always fun to Bible journal together, even if it's from afar. Thank you guys. I always have fun periscoping. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Excellent. Great. Excellent. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. This one hasn't been as long as some of them. Sometimes you just get on a roll when you're periscoping. So yeah, I will post this completed page on my Instagram. And then I'll also save this video and hopefully be able to post it up to YouTube, and I'll post it on my blog. And you can find the link to my blog in my Instagram. My handle on Instagram is the same as it is here, Arden_Elise. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday night.